Hi, good morning, everyone. Is my voice audible? Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so today we have we've split the session. The first half of the session will be handled by me, and I'm Saumita Sindilraj from Prompt Infotech, and the second half will be handled by Shankar sir. And so far, you have seen about websites, you've seen about Google Docs, you've seen about accessing the directories of website, about robots.txt, all that. So now, as a fresher or as a beginner to this entire field, you know like okay, robots.txt is a file where you configure what to see and what not to see. I mean, what should be accessed by Google and what cannot be accessed by Google. And talking about directories, you should have used Google Docs to find out if there is any directory which is actually available or which is easily accessed by a normal user. Now you've seen this all in the foreground, like from a user point of view, from a client perspective, you've seen all this. Now we are going to see what actually happens in the background, how actually a server looks like, what how the websites are being hosted. I'll this is not going to be very technical, but again, in a very short way, I'll tell you how this is all is happening, how a website is actually getting hosted, and where do you actually put your robots.txt file, how do you configure that file, how an actual web server looks like. So I'll show you all that. So the first half an hour will be about this. So before talking about web servers, normally when you take a website, you create a website maybe for a brand awareness, or for any services that you wanted people to know, like what you were doing. So this is where you create website. Okay. So when you talk about website, there are two types of website. One is static website and another one is dynamic website. Static and dynamic. Now, what is static website? In very simple term, if I should tell you, any website, any website that you can only see and you cannot communicate with the website, then that is a static website. Okay. Most of the company websites will be static because you cannot communicate with the company website. They just wanted to show what services they are doing. For that, they create static websites. But wherein when you take dynamic website, maybe you can consider a college website as a dynamic website, because you'll have logins for student, you'll have logins for teachers, you'll have login for principal. So there is some communication happening between the client and the website. So that is dynamic website. So maybe a static website, you can say a website without a database or without a backend, basically. And dynamic website, yes, obviously with a backend. So there is going to be a backend architecture. And when you try to exploit a website which is dynamic, then the severity or the risk is actually very high. Okay. So this is with two types of websites. So normally when you target on websites, when you try exploiting any website, focusing on dynamic websites will give you more results than static website, because even when you try, reporting a bug, when you find a bug in a website, the most severe issue will be considered, with dynamic websites, because those websites will take some interaction, maybe at least one input box in a website. Yes, that is again, you know uh, that is again a bug, so they will consider it as a high priority issue. All right, now this is with website, a basic introduction to website. And website, normally it is going to have many pages, many web pages. So a website is comprised of many web pages, and that web pages can be something like this. A website can have a home page, it can have an about page, it can have a services page, it can have a contact page, it can have multiple pages. So many web pages combine to become a website. All right. Now, consider there is a website called sample.com. Okay. So this is a website called sample.com, and the sample.com has four pages: home, about, services, and contact. Okay. So now consider that this is your website. Now I am trying to visit your website. Visit sample.com. Okay. Which page do you want me to see first? Among these four, which page do you want me to see first? Home, about, services, or contact? Which one? Obviously home. Yes, so the home is the actual page which is like the default page which every user should see. So now if that is the criteria, if your home page should be the first page which you wanted the user to see, then what you can do is you have to rename it to index. Index. It can be index.html if you are using HTML technology. It can be index.asp. It can be index.php. It can be, you can use any technology to create a website. But again, the extension depends on which technology you use. But the first page of any website, the name will be index. Take it any website, it is going to be index. Because when you try to access sales.com from website www.sample.com, when you try accessing this URL, obviously this URL is going to go search for the index file. Okay, so basically the first page will be named as index. Now, okay, so we have like 4 pages: home, about, services, and contact. Normally you are going to create all these pages, you're going to design all these pages in your own system. So obviously it is going to be local. Yes, so you're going to open Notepad or you use any type of editor. You're going to, develop website. You're going to write, tags and scripts for websites, and you're going to run it and see. Okay, good. So it is all going to be in your computer only, in your system only. Now, if you wanted to make this website live, like as in instead of you, if you want other people also to see your website, what you have to do is you need two things. Yes, when you develop a website, you develop your website using any technology. Take HTML, you take ASP, you take PHP. You are going to develop it with any technology. But then once the website is ready, the ultimate goal is you have to make it live so that people can see your website and understand what kind of business you are doing. Now for that you need two things. To make your website live, to make your website live, you need two things. First one is the domain name, and second one is the web server space. Okay, so we need two things. One is the domain name and another one is the web server space. Now basically a domain name is nothing but a name to your website. Now as I told you, www.sample.com is the domain name. So first you have to purchase this domain name. Now where you can go purchase, you should have heard about these web hosting providers: GoDaddy, you have Big Rock. Yes, you have, I think you have Chennai Host. So there are many hosting providers. Yes, so what you can do is you can go to these hosting providers, you can go to them and you can ask them for these domain name. And if this domain name is available, they're going to tell you how much it costs, and you can pay the amount and you can buy the domain name. It's as simple as that. Now let's try one. I'll just go to GoDaddy. Okay. Now, when you go to GoDaddy, see, it is asking you like to type something, maybe a domain name which you actually want. So when I type www.sample.com, let's see whether this domain name is available. I'm sure it won't be available. Let's see. Okay. So it is saying that sample.com is taken. Yes, sample.com is taken. So now it is giving me alternate. Maybe you can try sampleweb.co or samplesale.in. There are alternate domain names, and it is also showing me the charges. So normally what you have to consider is always choose a unique name which which differs from other websites, and which is very unique, so that even when the user tries to search your website in Google, when it is unique, it obviously comes up. Okay, so you can actually give a unique name. Maybe I'll try saumitascafe.com. So let's see whether this is available. Yes, see, so saumitascafe.com is available, and it is charged like 199 rupee per year. Yes, and it is like for the first year with a 2-year registration. So great. So after 1 year, again I have to renew. It is obviously going to ask me to renew. So I have to pay again, and I have to keep the domain name with me. So this way you can actually buy a domain name. Okay. Now you have a domain name with you. Okay. So now you have a domain name. The next thing which you need is a web server space. Okay. Now what is this web server space? See, when you take internet has many things. Okay. Internet has like it has e-commerce websites, it has college websites, it has company websites, it has blogs, it has social media. So internet is comprised of many things, right? Now what you are going to do is you have developed a website which has like around 4 pages. Yes. And now you are taking this to internet, and you have to get a space for yourself from the internet. Yes. So you need a space where there are already multiple things which are hosted, like e-commerce, college, company, blogs, and all that. But among that, you also need a small space where you can actually host your website, so that it becomes available in the internet. So for that, you have to buy the web server space. Okay, so that is web server. So that also you can buy from GoDaddy, and again from Big Rock also. So when you go to hosting, see there is this option called hosting, and it has many options like website hosting, WordPress, and servers. So normally for basic websites, even for dynamic websites, you can go with website hosting Linux, which is more kind of secure, and it has multiple features also. So when you go down, it is going to show you like the cost of web servers, how much it is going to cost, and how many websites. You when you click on learn more, it is going to show you how many websites you can host in that particular hosting. So see here. So this is the starter pack, and it is 99 rupee per month, and it allows you to host one website, and it is going to give you 30 GB storage capacity, 256 MB RAM, and you can have one database. So for every pack, you have certain characteristics. So from here, whichever is your meets your requirement, you can buy. You can buy the server space from here, and once you're done, yes, you're good to go. So when you try to add this to cart, and when you try to buy, it is going to ask you for the domain name. So obviously first you should have a domain name, and then you have to buy the hosting. So when you buy the hosting, it is going to ask you for the domain name. So you give the domain name and you buy the hosting. Okay. So once this is all done, yes, now you're good to go. You can actually host your website like that. I'll tell you how. Okay. Now when you try typing www.sample.com in a browser's URL, it is going to open your website. In case if there is any website, it is going to open. Okay. Now, how do you access this hosting space? Okay. Now, this domain name, obviously you have to type it in your URL, and it is going to open, your website. But then how do you open this hosting space which you have provided? Because that is where you have to upload all your files, whichever is in your system. All this is in your system: home, about, services, and contact. Now you have to bring it live. So to bring it live, what you will do is you will type www.sample.com/cpanel. Okay, cpanel is nothing but control panel, and this is where you upload all your designed web pages. Okay, so when you try accessing sample.com, it is going to go to your actual website. This is what a normal user, a client user, will be using. And sample.com/cpanel is where it is going to open the control panel of your website, where you can actually upload all your web pages. Every control of your website will be inside control panel. Okay, so we actually have a free server. I mean, we have a server which right now I cannot show it to you. So maybe I'll just show you a sample cPanel, maybe how it looks like in real. So this is how a cPanel looks like when you open a cPanel, when you log into cPanel. So normally when you try to log in, say now if www.sample.com is your website, then /cpanel, and it is going to redirect to the control panel. and there it is going to ask you for a username and password, which will be given to you by GoDaddy when you buy the hosting provider, hosting. And then using that username and password, you have to log in. So once you log in, this is how it looks like. Okay, so here inside cPanel you have various options. You have options to upload your files, you have databases, you have domain configuration, you have email configuration, you have many things inside a cPanel. And most probably all cPanel from whichever hosting provider you buy, maybe you buy it from a BigRock, or maybe you buy it from any other hosting provider, the options are going to be similar. Whatever options you find here, it is going to be similar in all hosting providers. Okay, so now what you have to do is, once you are inside cPanel, now say suppose in our system, maybe in desktop, in your system, inside in desktop, maybe let's say you have created a folder called sample. Okay, and in sample folder you have all these 4 files. One is index, about, services, and contact.html. You have 4 files in your system. Now you have to upload all these 4 files into this cPanel, so that when someone goes and types www.sample.com, it will open your website. Yes, so that is our ultimate goal. So now for that, what you have to do is, inside this cPanel, see here you have this option called files. Yes, and in files you have this option called file manager. So you have to click on this file manager. Okay, so once you click on the file manager, yes, so once you click on the file manager, a page like this is going to open. Okay, so this is file manager, and in the left hand side, see, you can find many folders which are already there. Okay, so maybe you call them a folder, you call them a directory. Yes, so here in this folders, you see a folder called public underscore HTML. I mean, just little blur, but this is actually public underscore HTML. Now this is the folder, or this is the directory where you have to upload all your web pages, the designed web pages. So this is actually the root directory. You can call this a root directory. When you type www.sample.com, when you type this particular URL is actually going to go search for this root directory in your cPanel, and inside this root directory, if you have index.html file uploaded, then that will be the first page which will be loaded here. Yes, I'll repeat it again. When you type www.sample.com, this particular URL will get into the cPanel and it will go to the root directory called public underscore HTML. And inside public underscore HTML, in case if you have uploaded index.html file, that is the file which will be first loaded and displayed in your web area. Okay, so inside this public underscore HTML, you will be uploading all the files, whatever files you have, the home page, the about page, contact, and the services page. So you'll upload it here, and in a minute or so, your website is going to be up. This is called website hosting. This is how you host a website. Traditionally, this is how they host a website. So if you wanted to host, obviously you need a domain name and you need a server. And in that server, inside file manager, this is how you will host it. And apart from that, you have many other options also. And yes, about your robots.txt, again, under this public underscore HTML, this is the root directory, and this is here. I mean, you will have to upload your robots.txt here only. So inside public underscore HTML, you will create a robots.txt file, and you will, you will give commands whichever you wanted to allow and whichever file you wanted to disallow. You'll give all that, and even that file will be uploaded inside the same directory called public underscore HTML. Now, when you try using any Google Doc, and when you are able to see all the directories of a website which is actually present, then those directories comes from here, and that comes and that is visible to your eyes because there is some misconfiguration done in cPanel, and that can be stopped with configuration, with configuring the cPanel properly. Okay, so this is with uploading a website. Now I know you wanted to practice this, maybe you just wanted to see how it actually works. Like, now for that, it is not mandatory that you have to pay and you have to buy a domain name and you have to pay and you have to buy a server space. No, you have free servers where you can actually try all this. It is going to look just similar to the actual web server. Today you can, I'll tell you one free hosting server where you can actually try and see this, and I'll also give you like two or three to dos like which you can actually work on. So now this is with actual server and paid server, maybe where you pay and you get and you host a website. But then to practice, you have something called, sorry, 000 web host. 000 web host. So 000 web host is a free server. Yes, it is a free web server. It is actually free only for a limited time, not forever. So here what you can do is you have to sign up. You can sign up, create an account for yourself, and you're good to go. You can, but when you sign up with 000 web host, see, this is actually free. So it comes with a few restrictions. You cannot choose your domain name. It is going to give you a domain name. So how is it going to give you a domain name? Now, say for example, when you sign up, say your name is Sriram. Okay, so maybe your name is Sriram, and when you sign up with your name, it is going to give you a domain name, something like sriram.000webhostapp.com. Okay, in case if your name is Bala, then it is going to give you a domain name, something like bala.000webhostapp.com. So this is going to be your website domain name. Okay, so with this domain name, you will be uh, accessing your web pages. Now I already have a 000 web host account created. Yes, so I have it created. So I'm just opening that. So the basic process is when you try signing up, it is going to ask you for an email confirmation. So you have to do that email confirmation, and then it is going to ask you for a few steps, whether you're going to develop a website or you're going to upload a website and all that. So you choose whichever is required, and it is going to ask you for a website name and a password. Okay, so here what you have to do is, if many people, definitely when you try using 000 web host for the first time, obviously you're going to stop here, because when you give a website name which is very common, now I used sample. So when you try giving sample, obviously this is not going to accept, because there are many people who are actually using 000 web host and they might have the same name. So again, here make sure you give a unique name. Okay, maybe you can give your own name with some numbers, or with, with any pet name, something like that you can give, and you give a password, and yes, you're good to go. So whatever name you give here, yes, again it is going to create a URL with that name, 000webhostapp.com. Okay, so this is with sign up process. Sign up process is very simple. You have to choose all the category properly, and then you're good to go. Okay, so once you're done, once you've signed up, I'll just go back so that I can show you which page you will land. I am actually going to land in this page. So once you sign up, it is going to land you in this page. Members, yes. So once you've signed up and once you've created your website, like with the website name, you have to give a name and a password. You're good to go. So you will be in this page. So in my 000 web host, I have something called SAMP test webs. I've given a name called SAMP test webs. This is something unique which no one else have used. So I've given this name. And see here at the bottom, it is also given me the domain name. So my domain name is samptestwebs.000webhostapp.com. Okay. So once you're in this page, what you can do is you have to click on manage website. And when you click on manage website, yes, again it is going to go to the dashboard. Yes, so it is, we are here in the dashboard, and inside this dashboard, see here you have an option called, okay, I don't know why this is opening. So you have an option called files. So whatever options we saw in actual cPanel, you have files, you have domains, you have email, you have database, you have advanced, you have all this. Yes, so with 000 web host, I think you can create one website, and you can host it and see. So you don't have to pay anything for this. For once it is free. And then if you keep using it, obviously it is going to ask you to pay. So what you have to do is you have to go to files and click on file manager. Now when you click on file manager, see, it is asking you to upload files. So you click on this upload button and you will be redirected to the actual file manager page of 000 web host. See, so you're now here in the file manager page, and in the left hand side, see, you find this folder called public underscore HTML, just what I was showing you in the actual cPanel. So actual cPanel also has the same folder, 000 web host also has the same folder. So this is where you're going to host all your files. So inside my public underscore .html, see, I already have few files. I have index.html, I have redir.html. So I have few files already. Okay, so what you can do is, now we are not going to develop any website. We are not going to develop a beautiful website for a college or a company. No, we're not going to do that. We'll try doing something malicious. Say, now there are some instances. Now I'm sure you should all have come across, when you try searching for any PDF documents in Google, PDF documents in Google, it is going to show you some results. Yes. And when you go try clicking on that result, automatically it is going to download the PDF file instead of opening the website. Yes. So attackers use this for a malicious purpose. I think you should have come across this. When you try downloading any PDF file, you will try opening the website, but instead of the website getting opened, a file will automatically get downloaded to your your system. So that is actually automatic download. You call that an automatic download, and that automatic download process, it is actually very simple. And most of the malicious attacks will happen with such type of concepts. So I'll tell you how this can be done with just at least 4 to 5 lines of code using HTML. I'll tell you how this is done, and you can actually perform this in 000 web host. Okay, so we have a code for this automatic download. The code is this. Okay, so this is just like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 lines of code. Okay, and with this particular code, what you can do is, whenever someone tries to access your website, automatically you can make them download a file. So this particular code is going to automatically download a document file, any Word document. Okay, so for that, what you have to do is, I am just copying this code. I'll give you this code, you can work on it. I'll just copy this code. So I have a file created here, index.html. In case if you want a new file to be created, public underscore html. So in case if you want a new file to be created, you have this option called okay, 1 minute, just close this chat box. Okay, so you have this option called new file here. So you can click on new file. It is going to create a new file for you. So now we have index.html already. So what I'll do is, I'll try editing this, and inside index.html I have that code. So the same code which I've copied, I have the code here. So I've pasted the code, and you have to save and close. Okay, and inside the same directory, inside same public underscore HTML, you should also have the Word document, which has to be downloaded automatically. Okay, so the name of the Word document is anyname.docx, and here if you could see, the name of the document is the same name. So whatever name the document has, the same name you have to give here also. Yes, so here it is any underscore name dot docs. Okay, and that's it. Save and close. Now let's try accessing. So I know my website URL is SAMP test. I pasted here. So this is my website URL. In case if you cannot find your URL, what you can do is, after creating a file like this, right click and click on view. So when I right click and I click on view, see, it is opening. It is showing me a hi message. Okay, because I've given a simple hi inside my code. But see here, a file got automatically downloaded. I didn't click on anything. I didn't do anything in this website. I just loaded this URL, and automatically a document got downloaded. So this is called automatic download, and it is very simple. With with a HTML script like this, with a 5 line of code, you can actually perform this. Okay, this is one thing. Let me tell you another one thing. So now you should also have come across this particular concept also. Now say you are trying to access a website, maybe any college website or any company website or any job portal website. You are there in some website, and there happens something called URL redirection. So what is this URL redirection? Of you are trying to access something called jobportal.com. So consider there is a website called jobportal.com. When you click on jobportal.com, what it is doing is it is actually redirecting you to some other website. It is not asking you to click or do anything. You write this URL, you hit on enter, and instead of visiting jobportal.com, it is actually taking you to facebook.com, or it is taking you to youtube.com, or it is taking you to some other different page. So that is URL redirection. So this can also be done. This can also be done with a 5 line of code in HTML. So for that you have this code. So this is just a 5 line of code. Okay, so that is actually redare.html. This is the file. So in this file, let's try editing. So I have pasted the code here already. So see, in this file you have just this. Actually this code is 1 line. Okay, so inside meta tag you have just given a URL. The URL is www.google.com. So whenever someone tries to access my page, this page, obviously I'm going to redirect them to some other website, that is google.com. Okay, so let's try this. I'll right click and I'll click on view. So it should go to my website, but instead of that, see, it is redirecting to google.com. We are not in my website, we are in google.com. Yes, yeah, it is something like redirecting your ads on YouTube. It redirects you to some other page. So it is something like that. So this can also be done. Okay, so automatic download instead of document file. For example, I've shown you document file, but apart from that, you can download, a malicious, exe file, which automatically runs in the background. But you have to elaborate the code a little bigger, because I don't think this will work. But if you can, experiment on this and elaborate the code, yes, it is going to work. Okay, such codes you can actually find it in GitHub. Codes, for running your script, whatever exe file that gets downloaded automatically, in case you wanted to install it automatically, you have many codes for that in GitHub also. You can try those codes and you can experiment it. Okay, so this is with automatic download and URL redirection. And apart from that, another example which you can try is, I'll share you these two codes, but apart from that, you can also try this. Try creating a pop-up. So whenever someone accesses your website, whenever they try accessing your website, try creating a pop-up which keeps appearing. Even after clicking OK, it keeps appearing. The pop-up keeps appearing. So try a script for that. That is also like a 4 to 5 lines of code. And in case if you're getting an output, yes, well and good. You can share that with us in Skype group. Okay, so that is your assignment for today. In case if you're trying this, you can actually try this also. So when someone opens your website, display a pop-up. Display a pop-up saying that you are hacked, something like that. Okay, you can display a pop-up something like this. So you can take this as your to do for today. Yes, and you can try these two scripts also, automatic download and URL redirection. Yeah, you can I'm just telling you a sample thing. Maybe you can try anything like yes, accepting cookie pop-up and all that. Yes, you can do that also. Okay, so this is with websites, web server. This is how websites are getting hosted, and this is how a cPanel looks like, and this is the configuration which you can do in cPanel. There are lot many things which you can do. So when you have free time, you can go through all this. And this we were seeing it today because all of you, like you are very new. Most of them are very new, and you should have a base understanding of how a website works and how where the directories are placed, so that when you try exploitation or when you try performing any attacks, even or when you try even finding some bugs, this will help you. Okay, and these codes will be shared to you in your notes, in your class notes. Yes, and you can access it from there. Okay, so all those codes you can create different file names. Yes, I have created automatic download inside index.html and redirection inside another file, so you can create it in with different file name. Pop up, you can create another new file called pop.html, pop.html, and you click on create, a file will be created here, and you click on edit, you can edit the code here, you can type the code, you can save and close, as simple as that. Okay, so you can try and you can work on it, and if you're getting the output, cheers, you can let me know. Yes, so now I'll hand over the session to Shankar sir. Thank you, and I'll come back again after this session for your attendance link.
Okay, hi, good morning, guys. Hope I'm audible. Okay, great. Give me 1 minute. My chat box is not here. Okay, great. So, on a quick note of what we have seen yesterday. Yesterday, we have seen, okay, we were looking at KCT. We took this example. I'll start from here. Fine. So, this was yesterday. And guys, please turn off your webcams. I can see guys walking outside, still listening to sessions. It is okay, but please turn off your webcams. And yesterday we started with kcd.ac.in. This was our target, and our objective is to hack the payment gateway of kct.ac.in. Yes, to do something with the payment gateway. And we have got one IP address. We used ping command for this IP, for getting this IP address. And I told you the IP what we have got, probably it might be the IP of the web server here, the web server of KCT. When you ping, yes, it is very obvious. KCT's web server is going to respond to you back. This is okay, but KCT can also have multiple other servers. We were looking at this. KCT can have a mail server, they can have a FTP server, they can have a payment server. And in case if you are bothered about payments, we should be concerned about this particular IP address and this particular server, right? And the IP what we have got here is this. We have got 104.27.143.153. Yes, we have got this IP address. That's perfectly fine. And all other servers here, mail server, FTP server, and payment server, they can have a single IP address like this. This is possible, fine. Single IP address like this is possible. In case if all these servers have a single IP address, they all have 104.27.143.153. If they all are hosted in a single IP address, and which means their network infrastructure is very weak. Why? Because if you compromise one IP address, probably you'll be able to compromise all other details. So colleges can use this kind of architecture because they don't spend money on security. What they'll do, they'll purchase one IP address and they'll host all their servers in this IP address, which is as per security, it is very weak. Fine. But few colleges, they can have different IP address here for this, and for this, which means they have different servers. And in case if they have different servers, our job is to identify this. And yesterday we have used Sublister. We have used Sublister, which is an OS based tool to find out, to enumerate the subdomains. Yes. And today we'll go for web based tool. A web based tool means a website which you can use. One website which is most commonly used is called virustotal.com. Virustotal.com is a website which can be used for multiple purpose. What multiple purpose? Say in case if you receive an email, right? Or in case if you receive a file in your WhatsApp Messenger or in your Facebook Messenger, right? You receive a file which you feel is suspicious, which you don't want to trust, or you want to verify whether the file is genuine or not, be it a PDF file, Excel sheet, Note document, or a JPEG image, or a URL, whatever it might be. You have received something, you want to verify the authenticity of this file, you can come to virustotal.com. You can choose the file here. Fine, choose this file, and you can, okay, what do we have here? Okay, let me, I'll confirm the upload, and I'll check if the file is genuine or not. Fine. It is going to compare with more than 50 plus antivirus search engines, and it is going to give you results like this. It says it is not detected, undetected, which means the file is clean. Fine, which means the file is clean. Even if one website says it is malicious or it is suspicious, it's a Trojan, then please don't download the file. It might be a malicious file. Fine. So virustotal.com can be used. One purpose is this. Second purpose, if you receive any URL, fine. If you receive any URL, paste the URL here. It is again going to show you whether this URL is going to be is a malicious URL, or is it a phishing scam URL, things like that. So we have three options in virustotal.com. One is for checking files. The other one is for checking URLs. Third is for us. Give your domain name. Our domain name is kct.ac.in. kct.ac.in. We'll go to details. Fine. If you go to details, you'll get details about this site, which is not needed. We'll go to relations. Fine. We'll go to relations. When you go to relations, when you scroll down, can you see here? You can see the subdomains. Yes. When you scroll down, see here, these are the subdomains for kct.ac.in. Okay. I think this will be enough. I'll load. We still have more. Okay. So how many subdomains we have? We have more number of subdomains here. Placement, student, this. Okay, fees payment. We have this fees payment, and we have an IP address for this. Yes. So we have fees payment here. So as per our objective, the IP address, this is for the web server, and this IP address, what we have here, this particular IP address is for fees payment. So they have a different IP address. Like a different server for fees payment. And so now, which is our target IP? This is your target IP address. Fine. This will be your target IP address. And how did you find this? We got this from virustotal.com. You also have so many other sites which you can use for finding out subdomains. You have so many other things. You will get so much of useful information here. Communicating files, how many files are there, how many .exe files are there, and files referring, how many files are present in the website, what type of files is that. And yes, so total they have 27 plus subdomains, and they have 10 plus reference files. Fine. So you have to understand why we go for subdomains, why we get the IP address of the subdomain, because based on your objective, you will have to choose which subdomain you will have to attack, or which subserver of your target you need to attack, and you need to find the IP address of that. And only when you use this IP address, you can use any tool, but only when you target this IP address, you will be able to achieve your objective. Fine. And apart from virustotal.com, you also have dnsdumpster.com. This is also one useful site, dnsdumpster.com. Let me go to this site, dnsdumpster.com. dnsdumpster.com, give kct.ac.in, enter. It's loading. DNS dumpster. And it is showing results for KCT, where they have their server, fine, where their server is hosted, and you get the DNS server details, fine. You get MX records, you get so many options, and here these options are different tools. You can try these options. These are different tools which you can use. Nmap port scan, different types of tools. When you click this icon, yes, you'll get the desired output. But we'll scroll down here. Okay, see here we have this particular subdomain here. Where is that? Okay, we have civilmoodle.kct.ac.in, blog.kct.ac.in, Telegram, iSTEM, graduation, demo, and the IP address of this. And here it is also going to give you the version of server what is being used. For email, the server what is being used and what details they have. So it is going to give you all information. Here it is Microsoft server, Microsoft, right? So which subdomain, what is the IP address, and what is the server being used? DNS dumpster is going to give you all these details, perfect details of all information, which will be very crucial for an attacker in terms of information gathering. So ours is fees payment, and yes, the IP address is the same, perfect. And the server which we are going to target is Microsoft, right? It is not Apache like what we have seen here. It is Microsoft server. HTTP API 2.0 is the version of the server. This is IP address, hosted in Amazon, India. Fine. So we have got this many information. Our IP address of the target server, and what is the target server, hosted in where? It is hosted in Amazon AWS cloud. So with this information, what you have got, you can proceed further with a lot of other details. And DNS dumpster is also going to show you a excellent graph like this, which will be helpful when you scroll down. When you see this, you will have a perfect idea of what your target is, how websites are, how servers are linked. It is going to give you all these details, right? So DNS dumpster and virustotal.com can prove to be one valuable source of information for you guys. Now, apart from this, you also have one more tool which can be used apart from Sublister. You have the Harvester. The Harvester is a Kali based tool. We'll go for Kali Linux, Kali, okay, Kali, and when you go for tools like this, you'll go for information gathering tools. And in information gathering, we'll go for OSINT analysis, open source intelligence analysis. I click this, I have this tool called Harvester, right? You can go for this tool called Harvester, open this tool. When you open this tool, it says it is executing Harvester, perfect. And okay, I hope you are able to see this now. Yes, fine. So what is the command here? I'll type the harvester, and then you have to give your domain name. I'll give -d. -d is for domain name. I'll give kct.ac.in, fine, my domain name, and I'll give -b. -b is the source. Give me 1 minute. People are in waiting room. -b. -b is the source. See here, -b is the source from where you have to search. So you have so much of option. You can either give all, or you can go for a particular option. I'll go for Google, right? I'll go for Google, and I'll enter. So we have two options here. One is -d, which means what is our domain name. And when you give -b, you will have to choose the source, which source. So after this, I'll click enter. Harvester is going to search is going to search the results, and it is going to give me it is searching like 400, 500 results from Google. When you normally search, you'll go over the first page, second page, and then you'll leave. But see here, Harvester, it has found emails for us, right? It has found emails from Google, how much of emails for kct.ac.in, and it has also got IP address and subdomains of this. We have got fees payment, we have got smart apps, we have got so much other things. Yes, so you can also use this Harvester. You can use it for grabbing email address of your target in case you wanted to report something, or again, in case you want to verify the subdomains along with the IP address. Yes, you can use the Harvester. It's an excellent tool. And one other tool which can be used for finding email address is hunter.io. Hunter.io, you give any domain. We'll give iam.ac.in, iam. Which IAM we can give? IAMB something. Okay, IAMBG. Okay, or we'll give Flipkart. To make it very simple, I'll give flipkart.com. I wanted to find the email address with related to flipkart.com. See here, I've got email address. All you have to do is create an account with this. It's perfectly free. When you create an account, yes, you will be able to view the email address of the particular domain what you gave. Right? You can also give any domain, check if it is working or not. Right? And this is one more option where it can also be used along with Harvester, along with hunter.io. Yes. So now coming to the next topic. So enumerating subdomains is over, and you have enumerated subdomains, and based on your target, you have chosen which IP address you need to attack. And after this, you will have to find the technologies used. KCT is our target, and we need to find what technologies are being used. I'll first go for an extension which is very common. We have so many extensions. These extensions are called browser extensions, which you can install in your browser. Browser extensions like Vapalizer, you have Page X-ray, you have Watrans. You have so many browser extensions here which you can use. What is the use of this browser extension? I have Vapalizer installed in my browser. I'll open this. I'll go to KCT site, kct.ac.in, enter, and I have Vapalizer which is installed. So what does Vapalizer do? My browser extension is here, the top. See here, this purple violet color icon here is Vapalizer here. So when I click this, it is going to show me all the details about my target. It says my target uses WordPress and they're using Cloudflare. Database, what they're using is MySQL. And yes, I get a lot of information like this. And this is being, it's a kind of bug, 5.3.4. Why is it a kind of bug? Because a version of this WordPress server should not be disclosed. As an attacker, we knowing that KCT is using WordPress is perfectly fine. That is okay. But as an attacker, if you come to know that KCT is using 5.3.4, this particular version of WordPress, what will I do? Now I know the version of WordPress for my target website. So I'll just go to Google and I'll type WordPress 5.3.4. I'll type vulnerabilities. I'll just search this particular version of WordPress is weak to what? Is vulnerable to what? So when I click on vulnerabilities, I get a lot of things. We'll go to CVE details. I'll tell why we go for CVE details. CVE details, okay, 5.3.4. Okay, give me 1 minute. We'll also go for this. Tenable. Okay, here it says this WordPress They have multiple vulnerabilities. What vulnerabilities they have? It is vulnerable to cross-site scripting, this, privilege escalation, authorization bypass vulnerability, so much of vulnerability. So what I'll do as an attacker, I'll use these vulnerabilities and I'll try to exploit, because I know this particular version of WordPress is vulnerable to these attacks. And if I try all these attacks in this particular target, it is for sure going to work. Yes. So version, when you come to know the version of the server being used, again, that's vulnerable. So MySQL, Cloudflare, fine. So this is extension, Vaporizer. How will you install extensions? I'll go to options here, more tools. I'll go for extensions here, and in extensions, who is requesting remote control of my screen? Okay. And in extensions, I have to click this here, open Google Chrome Store here, Google Chrome Store, and here you can type Vaporizer. I'll type Vaporizer here. See, you have Vaporizer, you have Watrens, you have Page X-Ray, you have so much of things. Yes, you can install whatever you want. Vaporizer is good. So I've already installed this. So when you click this, it will ask you to add to Chrome. When you click on add to Chrome, it will ask you with a pop-up. Just confirm it. Just confirm it, and you'll get this added in your browser. Fine, as simple as that. Now this is one extension what you can go, and apart from this, we have web-based tool. We have a web-based tool which you can use, is builtwith.com. You can use builtwith.com. That is one good site which gives you so much of details. You can use hexometer.com. That is another site which again gives so much of details. Right? So we'll try to use builtwith.com. Now what you're trying to analyze, you're trying to find out the technologies being used by your target. What technologies your target is using. So builtwith.com, here I'll give kct.ac.in. Okay, so when you give this, builtwith.com is going to give you a lot of details. What technologies are being used in your target. Okay, PHP, Ajax libraries, Facebook CDN, Cloudflare, and WordPress. Content management system, what is used is WordPress, and what version of WordPress is being used. JavaScript libraries, what JavaScript libraries are being used. This is not a DOS attack. We are not performing any attack. We are just enumerating. So this is not a DOS attack. See, it is giving you so much of options about this site. Apache, Ubuntu, fine. So much of information here. We'll go for the next site. The next site being Hexometer, hexometer.com. Hexometer.com, get started for free. Oh my God, no. Is it asking Hexometer website technologies? Hexometer website technology stack tech. Okay, we'll give kct.ac.in. Scan. I'm telling you from the attacker's point of view, in case if you are an employee working for kct.ac.in, you are an employee, you are a security admin working in KCT college, and if you perform the same on your college, that you call it as pen testing. Right? When an unknown person from outside is performing a lot of things like this, then that is an attack. But when you are a security admin of KCT college and you perform all these attacks on your own website to check if your website is secure or not, right? That is called pen testing. So see here, you have Bootstrap, you have Cloudflare, what type of technologies is being used. So you get details about this, and yes, you also get a lot of other details which you can try to analyze, you can try to find out. That will be good. Fine. So this is with a technology mapping and enumerating subdomains, and in case how to meet your objective of whatever it is. Fine. Next is vulnerability analysis, which we'll see tomorrow. This is identifying the actual weakness of the site. Right? What is weak for this site? We will use more number of tools, Kali based tools for this, and we'll try to find out what type of vulnerabilities do they have, and how to identify that and how to report that. Right? Yes, your attendance will be shared now. And for today's assignment, your assignment will be shared by 12 o'clock along with my assignment, which you have to complete before end of the day. Because as I told you yesterday, people have a lot of exams and other things, and you are attending the session with sacrificing a lot of things. So assignments, yes, it is up to you guys to submit within today. Right? And many of you have submitted assignments with good response, and we'll have to choose based on the timing. We'll have to choose 20 of you guys from that. We'll see, but it is good that you are participating well in this, and you're trying to complete the assignments. Fine. I wish you a good day, and we'll meet tomorrow then. Thank you.
Okay, the attendance link has been shared to you. It is in the chat box. You can go fill in your attendance and you can leave for the day. Thank you.